What is happening, guys? Cowboy here, and we are back. So, from our bonfire, if we head out this way, that's actually the path to the boss. Instead, though, we're going to go this way first and grab a couple of items and knock out a few things. So, head on over, take out our friend right here, before he has a chance to even stand up, and take out some more friends. No, sir, please sit back down. Kind of feel bad for him. Ooh, and a rotten Grue sword. Nice. So, Crystal Beast. Let's buff up. We're actually going to be probably changing our weapon fairly soon in this playthrough. Just so that we can start using a weapon that's buffed. Because, of course, we are not able to buff the Butcher Knife because of the healing ability being kind of an innate aspect of it, if you will. So we can't do that. We got great magic weapon. And we'll open this door, and just to put our world back together, there's the Road of Sacrifices. There's the Black Knight from earlier. No, you don't, sir. If you want to come through here... Backstab you? Man, completely broke my stamina. Not bad. But not enough. And I just remembered I completely forgot to spend my souls to level up. I probably should have done that. No, wait, actually, I did not. I did spend my souls. They were spent before this. I think I just got a lot off that Crystal Beast. Anyway, so from here, we're gonna... I'll take that, thank you, sir. We're gonna pop an Ember, because there is a summon we can bring into this boss fight. Quite helpful as well. So there's a few more items we're gonna grab before the boss. In particular, an Ember, a Black Bug Pellet, and then make our way onto the summon. So while we're walking out over there, we're going to actually explain this fight. So the Abyss Watchers is a two-phase fight. During the first phase, it'll start with just you versus one Abyss Watcher. A second Abyss Watcher will summon. When we come out here, make sure you stick to the right. And initially, it's going to be you versus one Abyss Watcher, and then you versus two Abyss Watchers. But as things continue on, there is a third Abyss Watcher that will show up. Now, the third one that appears is slightly different in that his eyes are red, and he will attack the other two Abyss Watchers. So the fight is effectively a 2 versus 2, not a 1 versus 3. Now, the other two Abyss Watchers can also attack that one as well, and if they kill him, they'll just, get right back onto you. So keep that in mind. Once you get the first actual Watcher down, and I mean, it doesn't matter, while you're fighting the two Watchers, only one of them, damage to one of those Watchers will affect the actual boss health bar, while the other one will not. So keep that in mind. And once that Watcher falls, the fight will then go into Phase 2. So, for those that played Dark Souls 1, you're going to see some obvious throwbacks to Phase 2 here, just to kind of tie things together with the lore. If you remember, we just picked up the, where is it at? Covenant items are here. The Watchdogs of Farron. Ancient medallion depicting the crest of a wolf symbolizes the pact with the old wolf of Farron, equipped to pledge oneself. The Watchdogs ensure that the warriors sleep in serenity by taking form of loyal spirits and hunting down those who would trespass the woods. So, obviously, there's a theme of a wolf here, and if we go over to our items, and you remember that swordgrass that we picked up, a leaf signifying a duty fulfilled by the Watchdogs of Farron, who stand beside the old wolf to ensure the serenity of those at rest. Long ago, the swordgrass leaf was quietly identified members of the Undead Legion. In the rotted forest rest the spirits of warriors past. Their acceptance of and gratitude towards their guardians is expressed eloquently by the humble leaf. Now, it's just a little bit of lore, but with the whole wolf's blood theme going on, you're probably wondering who this great wolf they were all praising is, and of course, it is Sif. So, with that in mind, when we go into the second phase of the boss fight, there's going to be a very similar moveset, and if you played Dark Souls 1, you will recognize that as the moveset of Artorias. So this particular area, the reason we swung all the way around and avoided those guys was just because we can. But you can actually farm some Dark Wraith items here as well. There are 2 Dark Wraiths and they're usually a little bit faster. I don't know why they're being slow right now. Usually, by the time I reach these guys, they've made it up here, and they're getting involved in the fight. There we go. You can see one right there. And you can just keep attacking them, and you can actually farm them for their loot. We'll fight this one, try and get some loot out of them. They're pretty easy to parry. You can also... Ooh, man. I'm glad that did not hit. And after this boss, just because we'll have a little bit of extra time before the next area, we'll likely go and we'll take out the Dark Wraith that is needed to obtain the Red Eye Orb. So, by default, they'll always drop Cracked Red Eyes. If you take them out, just repeatedly, you can actually end up getting some pieces of the armor or the sword that they use. I know I had a lot of people asking about the sword. But we'll summon Gotthard real fast. We'll actually get a gesture from him as well. By my sword. And into the boss we go. Definitely see some Bloodborne-esque design on the appearance of the boss here. Now you can parry and backstab this boss, so keep that in mind. If you're really good at your parries, feel free to take that route. I find it a lot easier to just kind of stagger them and then get backstabs when they leave themselves open. But the boss can be quite aggressive, and as you can see right now, there's the second one, the one with the red eyes. That's the one that's actually on our side. Well, I shouldn't say he's on our side. He'll attack whoever he sees, but he will attack the other Abyss Watcher. As you can see right there, he dove over at him. So just keep that in mind. He's kind of a wild card, if you will. We're going to top off all the way and sharpen this up. And now we're going to finish off... Oh, this is the wrong one. That's the extra. So Gotthard's fighting the actual one that we need to attack. Now this summon cycle of one good, one bad Abyss Watcher, this will just continue on throughout the fight, so keep that in mind. It's just going to keep occurring until you get this real, like the first initial Abyss Watcher actually down. And now with the Watchers down, all the blood will come together, and in the one to rise, we will see the first Watcher of the Abyss. So at this point, the moveset gets a bit more aggressive. I'll try and sharpen if I can get it off in time, and... ooh! Just barely. Same things apply, though. You can still backstab, you can still parry. But boss is just a little bit more aggressive, that's all. Of course, there's now flame involved. As you can see, Gotthard makes this fight relatively simple. On top of that, we're getting really good stagger through our Butcher Knife here as well. Looks like that is it for the Abyss Watchers. Thank you, Gotthard. Went nice and smooth. So from there, let's grab our fire. We're gonna proceed on over this way. Wait for this to move. So as we go on down, this will be the next area we'll be knocking out, the Catacombs of Karthus. We're going to be saving that for the next episode, and there are a couple things that we want to touch on back over at Firelink Shrine. So we're going to go take that stuff down. I may have already talked to him. Let me see if I have my lift key. I do not. Okay. So back we go. Now, one thing that I haven't been mentioning up until now, because it is optional and a lot of people might not want to do this, but of course, you can keep going to Yoel of Londor to draw out your inner power, which will result in a Dark Sigil. After we kill the boss of the Catacombs, that is actually where all the effects of the Dark Sigil will really come to pass, and you'll see the hollowing. So I've already started drawing out power because as part of this walkthrough, I'm going to go all the way through and go towards the third ending of the game. You can see our Dude of Karim is here.
I just dropped in to see how she's getting on. This would...
No real dialogue out of him. He's just checking in on his boo. We'll go over here, show you guys the new boss weapons we can make real fast. So out of deacons, what would I want on this guy with the deacons? 15 versus, I don't think I'd ever use the Cleric's Candlestick. We do want Havel's Ring for sure. Now from the Stray Demon, we can either get Havel's Ring or the Pontiff's, no. Stray Demon, where's the other Stray Demon thing? Ah yes, Boulder Heave. Now I actually got this in the Let's Play. I thought it was terrible. I mean, the damage is mediocre. I think the purpose of it is it's supposed to function as a poise break because you are heaving a boulder. That being said, Havel's Ring is huge. Maximum load is so important in the game, especially playing as a strength class and wanting to use those bigger, heavier weapons. So I would suggest that. As for the Crystal Sage, you can really go for whatever. We're not going to be really doing a dex type build at all, so I'll grab this in case I ever want to become a mage. Of course, from the Soul of the Blood and Wolf, which actually, let's just add a little bit of lore, as we did before. The blood was spread amongst the Abyss Watchers, and their souls are one with the soul of the Wolf Blood Master, Artorias himself. So both of these swords are really, really cool. Like, honestly, this is probably one of the most difficult souls to spend because the Wolf Knight's Greatsword and the Farron Greatsword are both awesome. This is the one that you saw the Abyss Watchers using. You have, with your special mode, you just hold the sword in your right hand, you have the dagger in the left hand so you can parry. Also has a very, very dynamic moveset to it. The Wolf's Knight Greatsword, of course, Greatsword of a Knight tainted by the dark of the Abyss and Master of the Wolf's Blood of Farron. The Wolf Knight was the first Abyss Watcher, and his sword is more punishing against creations of the Abyss. But Wolf's Knight Greatsword, really, really solid weapon. You have some really, really awesome attacks with that. We're going to end up picking up that just because this is more the strength one, whereas this is more the dex one. And it's actually not too bad of a sword to even do your playthrough with. And then we'll pick up Deep Soul as well. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are curious. For that purpose, we will also go through and we will show you the Wolf's Knight Greatsword. So with the In your stance here, your R1 will do the low sweep. Your R2 will do the front flip. Aside from that, though, you have a pretty standard moveset with it. You know, nice wide swings. Little charging thrust for the R2. Obviously, I'm using up a lot of stamina to use this because I don't have the dexterity required. Two-handing it. Moveset is varied slightly. We now have vertical slashes. Big heaping slashes. I just like doing the flips. Boom, boom, boom. Great to clear stuff out. Anyway, enough playing around. So, other things we want to do while we're here. As I mentioned, if you are going towards the Dark Sigil... Oh no, Yola's already dead. That's odd. He's supposed to die after the next boss, but I guess maybe maybe I was misinformed on that. I mean, everything that I had understood was that he dies after the Catacombs boss, but that is clearly not the case, which is kind of beat because we only have, I only got one level off of him. So, that sucks. I'll just make mention of that at the start of the video for anyone that is going for that to make sure to keep... I mean, we did talk about it earlier, but you have to just keep talking to him. And you need to make sure you get 5 Dark Sigils. If you get 5 Dark Sigils, when he dies, a new NPC will come to replace him. So we already gave her the Paladin's Ishes from earlier that we picked up. Aside from that, we have quite a few things. Actually, no, we have our 2 sorcery books. I'm trying to remember if we have a tome. The sorcery books, obviously, we're not going to be able to turn those in because our intelligence is only at 8.
Oh, Jack, I was not God's eye.
We do have some tomes for her, though. See quite a few miracles now. We have Null, Deep Protection, which is a really nice one. Extra attack, absorption, resist, and stamina recovery. If you want to go up to 20 faith, definitely a good one to pick up. Tears of Denial, another interesting one. As long as it's up, if your HP reaches 0, you don't die. You have, like, basically that one last chance to survive. So it's really good against times where you're getting, like, one shot by bosses.
I want as pride. Careful, you don't.
Nope, did not mean to do that. We're going to give you the Great Swamp Tome. And up in the next area, we actually get the tome that'll allow us to cast Flame Weapon, but we're going to pick up Flash Sweat now. Definitely kind of a standard one you're going to want to pick up.
Hello again. I have since heard a great deal about you. For one, that you are most gentle of heart. I, too, am bound by duty, but can offer you my sign. I hear that cordial intrusion lays the path to Ember. If I can be of help, by all means, do call upon me. Blessing
Dark
of
Moon
the
Loyalty.
journey.
There it is.
If
So,
you should acquire it, bless.
we have that. We can touch base with him, and he would actually tell you where to go from here.
Foot of Lothric Castle, an old path still runs below the tower in the undead settlement. It was used to transport sacrifices to the Cathedral of the Deep. You should see where it leads, if you've the stones.
Now, we're not getting much out of him, and we'll go talk to Henri real fast.
Oh, and we meet again. We spoke before on the Road of Sacrifices. Henri of Astora. I'm well pleased to see you safe. We reached the Cathedral of the Deep, but Aldrich's coffin was empty. The man-eater must have left for his true home. The little doll in the empty coffin told me Aldrich is said to hail from Irithyll in the Boreal Valley, an ancient fabled city. A pilgrim told me that the city lies beyond Farron Keep, and so becomes our destination.
And that's where we're going to be going next. So, a little bit bummed that Yule's already dead. I was hoping to get the 5 free levels off of him. That was actually kind of my goal. I was going to use that to help offset the extra vitality I needed. But with the Havel's Ring, use this. I can start using the Great Machete. That might be fun to try out. I mean, obviously, eventually we want to work towards a nice big sword, but right now Gats does not have enough vitality to throw this big thing around, so
Very then, Hick.
let's actually level up. We might be able to, with a couple levels here. Get that up to 20, and we're going to want to get that higher anyway for the weapon that we are going to be going for, which is in a upcoming area, so not quite there yet. What are we at? What is our percentage? 74. So we're going to need to go a couple more, probably up to around 25 is where we're going to use it. If we drop the shield off, we can of course use it, but especially for someone just learning the game, the shield will help quite a bit. But Greatsword, I mean, I used the Greatsword for my first playthrough of Dark Souls 2. Not the best weapon in the game, but a very solid weapon choice. Very strong all around. Nice, good AoE potential on this thing. Great for clearing out rooms. The one downside is the scaling, as you can see, is now only DD, and even when we level it up, it's not quite as strong as it used to be, which is a little bit of a disappointment. So I'm probably going to put some stuff into the Great Machete and actually work with that in the coming episodes, give that a little bit of love. But either way, guys, we are wrapped up for now. Obviously, in the next episode, we're going to be taking on the Catacombs of Karthus. And that's going to actually be a long series, because through there, we're actually going to be accessing an optional area that's quite long. And then after we get through that optional